The wind screams wildly among the tallest summits, where snow lies as an endless mantle and the pale mountains tear apart the cloud's veil. Here, an unyielding, piercing chill sinks straight into the deepest core of the bones. Ancient rocks defy time's passage, and storms of exceptional force erase all that lies in their path. The sunrises paint the snow a deep red, almost blood-like. The sunsets grow so bitter they freeze even the breath within. And at night, avalanche roars boom like ancestral spirits in the profound gloom. On the skyline, a dormant giant rises imposingly as the eyes blur the line between solid reality and the wildest fantasy. The peak, that faraway hope pinned among the heights, welcomes us to the spot where Earth crashes violently against sky. Hey, this is Everest, the planet's loftiest mountain. In this domain, altitudes stop being mere digits and become a constant hazard to existence. Winter, beyond a mere changing season, is an ongoing condition. And with it, the cold stands as the one true and absolute master of life on this sleeping colossus. Yet, in what should be a lifeless zone where extreme heights and freezing temperatures have taken over the task of wiping out every hint of life, nature, as if defying the gods, not only endures but thrives with astonishing grit amid the harshest conditions. Unthinkable wild creatures display their rawest and most untamed side. Staring frozen death straight in the face and surviving to tell the tale. Amid the fiercest blizzards, the mighty yak experiences firsthand all the severity of the endless Himalayan winter. Pikas, tiny and tough survivors, take refuge below ground from the climate's hostilities, managing with relative ease the blows of subzero temperatures, while the red panda curls up with its thick, bushy tail to ward off hypothermia on the coldest nights. Each wild species executes its survival plan with precision to avoid dying in this white world, where the heights constantly menace life. The black bear, a colossal beast, searches patiently among the sparse vegetation for food. A handful of insects or some fresh berries become a true feast in this world of severe scarcity. The barrel, a high-altitude grazer, browses on nearly vertical slopes thousands of feet up, where only it enjoys the freshest grasses. Meanwhile, the musk deer tirelessly gnaws down to the final moss in its path in a superhuman effort not to give in to hunger. But perishing under such harsh climate and an unmatched shortage of food are not the sole trials faced by the wild residents of this imposing peak. When predators lurk, the freezing survival conditions become a lesser threat beside the immediate danger of falling prey to the claws and jaws of the food chain rulers. Hidden among slopes frozen in time, the mountain ghost, a feline of glacial beauty and a calculating mind, fixes its penetrating eyes on its upcoming victim. When the snow leopard stalks, there is nothing its prey can do. A leap, an accurate and devastating swipe, and it is finished. On these same steep grounds, where even the faintest form of life marks a genuine miracle, wolf packs control the food chain with unrelenting passion. A deep howl echoes across the mountains, and the whole pack stands ready to unleash its reign of terror. Thousands of feet high, the bearded vulture, ace of the Himalayan skies, watches the horizon carefully in search of fresh carrion. In mere seconds, this clever vulture lifts the remains of victims from this ecosystem's restless wildlife up high, dropping them from immense distances. This is wildlife on Everest, hostile, fragile, delicate, yet immensely fascinating. Located in the middle of the rugged Himalayan range on the border between China and Nepal, with an elevation of 29,029 feet, Mount Everest stands as the tallest mountain on Earth. Set in a geological mass where peaks like Lhotse and Nuptse also rise, each over 26,247 feet high, Everest is far more than just a mountain. It represents an entire ecosystem where animals and plants have adapted to the most severe living conditions. At lower altitudes, up to about 13,123 feet, dense coniferous forests full of pines and firs take over the landscape. Here, vegetation is far richer. And even during the warmer months, shrubs, grasses, and even wildflowers fill these mountain bands with vivid colors. Climbing a few thousand feet higher, the trees fade out, and sparse grasses, mosses, and lichens appear, clinging tenaciously to the rocks. Beyond 19,685 feet, plant life becomes almost absent, and except for a few lichens, no form of vegetation manages to grow. Like the plant life, temperatures faithfully reflect, while in the lowlands, the thermometer can even show pleasant readings around 77 degrees Fahrenheit in summer. Above 19,685 feet, extreme cold is the rule, with an eternal winter where temperatures constantly stay below freezing. The summit, undoubtedly one of the most hostile spots on the planet, suffers a bone-chilling cold where temperatures down to 76 degrees Fahrenheit are the daily norm. Here, hurricane-force winds over 186 miles per hour turned this corner of the world into a true hell on Earth. While Everest's summit, more than 5 miles high, is a lifeless place where no macroscopic life could progress. At about 13,123 feet from the world's highest point, the story changes entirely. In these mountain bands, against all odds, wildlife thrives in full splendor, with blue sheep running among the rocks, deer eating the scarce shoots, and marmots emerging from their burrows. Yet, in less than a second, this whole scene of apparent peace and extreme survival is broken by a raw and grotesque act of savagery. With a cold stare and a freezing wind whipping its thick fur at the sound of a thundering howl, the alpha gathers the pack for an unstoppable hunt. Immediately obeying the leader's command, the pack assembles. Though weighing up to 99 pounds and having a powerful jaw able to crush bones, surviving a lone wolf is already quite a feat for any prey. When an entire formidable pack of these hunters goes on the prowl, escape is nearly impossible. Not even Everest's sub-zero temperatures can limit the hostility and ferocity shown by these predators when their stomachs growl with hunger. With a sturdy frame, Himalayan wolves are perfectly adapted to living in an ecosystem battered by freezing weather. Their thick, woolly fur with a dense undercoat gives them remarkable thermal insulation, helping them stay warm even on those days when the cold worsens. Their face, relatively large compared to their body, has an elongated snout and upright, well-furred triangular ears that protect against hypothermia. Strong, muscular legs with well-padded paws are ideal for walking on snowy and rocky ground, exactly the kind that fills their vast home on Mount Everest. Whether through alpine forests in the lowlands or over steep mountain slopes, the packs rule the food chain at will, spreading terror among species such as blue sheep, Himalayan tahr, deer, pikas, and even the mighty yaks. The faintest trace of a footprint or the subtle scent of a trail is more than enough for the alpha to give the order, engaging the pack in a new hunt. Thanks to their highly developed sense of smell, these clever canines can detect even the faintest scent of an ungulate from several miles away. Keen eyesight and an excellent sense of hearing are also part of their natural abilities to locate their outmatched prey. With up to 8 members in the group, only a large prey can satisfy the hunger of these fierce hunters in a habitat as harsh as Everest. Wolves always prefer to focus their efforts on substantial kills rather than catching small prey that won't provide much meat. Once the prey's location is clear, the pack marches steadily toward its future victim, following what appear to be a deer's tracks. Through howls, head movements, and body postures, the alpha plans a very complex hunting strategy that reduces the prey's chances of survival. With the victim already in sight, the wolves rely on their unmatched stealth to approach the quarry with the utmost care. Their fur in shades of white, brown, and gray camouflages the canids with unsettling effectiveness, making them vanish among the sparse vegetation and pale surroundings. Since a failed hunt could endanger the pack's survival, the alpha plans every move carefully, ensuring it ends with a cruel bite into the deer's juicy flesh. With every wolf involved in the hunt, the alpha gives the start signal and, breaking its stealth, lunges at the ungulate. Although the deer dashes quickly across the slopes, the carnivore's strategy relies not on a surprise attack but on a prolonged endurance chase, in which each pack member actively takes part, limiting the prey's escape routes. With starvation as their only alternative, the canines relentlessly pursue the ungulate, not wavering in their intent to give it a painful death. After an exhausting run, the prey's legs begin to fail, and each step becomes a struggle. Between the rough terrain and having a whole hungry pack of carnivores behind it, the inevitable occurs, and panicked, the ungulate yields, cornered by the pack, which soon gives the mammal a cruel yet efficient death using their powerful bites. After the pack has brought down a large prey, the predators prepare to devour it. Of course, although anarchy may seem to rule these feasts, the truth is that these canines are governed day by day by a strict hierarchy, in which the alphas, among other privileges, eat first. Having eaten nearly the entire prey, leaving only a few bones behind, now with full stomachs, the pack looks for a cozy spot to rest. Since snowstorms with heavy blizzards and freezing temperatures are everyday events in their habitat, when not chasing an unlucky prey across huge distances, the dogs take the chance to rest and, above all, to shelter from the icy weather. Caves, rocky overhangs, and even simple burrows are ideal places for a well-deserved rest. During this time of relative calm, away from the tension of the hunts, wolves usually strengthen their social bonds through activities such as play. By play fighting and tugging at objects, the canines create a harmonious atmosphere within the group that ensures pack unity. When a wolf tries to break the established social order by climbing the ranks, the alphas quickly remind the rebellious dog of its place, subduing it through loud howls and elaborate body postures. Even though each canid is a formidable beast, the key to these predators' survival lies in their pack life. Living in large, well-coordinated groups is what allows them to capture sizable prey far bigger than themselves. One such prey is a gigantic bovid, weighing up to a ton, magnificently adapted to life above 19,685 feet. For the massive yak, altitudes are nothing more than numbers, as this robust mammal sees its isolated habitat as the perfect place to flourish. With an exceptionally long and dense coat, the yak possesses perhaps the finest natural fur on the entire mountain to survive sub-zero temperatures. A small hump on the shoulders, along with very long, curved horns up to 3.3 feet in length present in both females and males, make this ungulate an unmistakable species. Those same rocky slopes and snowy areas that other wild species might consider barren are seen as welcoming habitat by this skilled survivor. Thanks to its very dense fur and a thick layer of body fat, the yak can withstand all the harshness of Everest's winter firsthand. No matter that the thermometer drops to 40 degrees Fahrenheit and hurricane-force winds batter its corner of the mountain, this bovid does not even flinch at the adverse conditions. Just as it is adapted to the extreme climate, while other wild species find finding food on these steep grounds quite a challenge, the yak discovers a true feast on these rugged soils. Being an herbivore specialized in eating high-altitude vegetation, alpine herbs, mosses, dwarf shrubs, and sedges, forms its very low nutrition diet. The poor quality of its food, added to its enormous size, means the yak must spend up to 12 hours a day grazing. Walking slowly across the vast alpine meadows, this ungulate carefully scans the ground, alert to any sign of anything that even looks edible. To locate its sparse food sources, this horned giant uses its highly sensitive sense of smell, with which it can detect even the smallest blade of grass from several hundred feet away. Even when its sustenance lies under a thick snow layer, the yak does not hesitate to use its strong hooves and large head to unearth what are, to it, tasty snacks. While the fibrous diet of herbs and shoots has somewhat low nutritional value, thanks to a very advanced digestive system, it can extract the most from every bite. Like a true ruminant, after its long grazing walks, the herbivore spends hours re-chewing partially digested food, which ensures that not even the tiniest nutrient is wasted. Though they absorb small amounts of water from their dry diet, these ungulates usually actively look for wetlands, small streams, or puddles to drink from. While when freezing temperatures take over its habitat, it shelters from the cold among rock formations. If surprisingly the thermometer rises, the yak can even wallow in available water to cool off. Since its food demand is not exactly small, after grazing an area for a while, resources generally begin to run low, at which point the herbivore must look for new grounds. Putting aside their intimidating appearance, which might suggest territorial behavior, both males and females are quite social, having no issue interacting with their own kind. Females along with their calves even form large herds of up to hundreds of individuals, which becomes quite a sight, so many giants taking over the heights. Males, for their part, are somewhat more flexible in their social habits, able to live alone or in small bachelor. These groups, often formed outside the mating season, are vitally important when the rut begins, a time when the large males compete for access to females. In these herds, testosterone can almost be smelled miles away, with these robust bovines competing to be the dominant one in what is a sort of training for the mating season. In establishing hierarchy, size and physical strength are everything. Often the largest and most muscular yak is the one who holds dominance over the group. Of course, this authority is tested quite often. Older and more experienced males also tend to hold a privileged position in the group, due to both their bulk and their reputation in combat. Naturally, with young males thirsty for power, there is never a shortage of challenges aiming to take the dominant spot. Here, intense ritualized combats take place in duels that, while rarely ending in death, involve strong headbutts, charges with horns, and displays of strength. The duel often ends when one male, overcome by exhaustion, decides to yield to his opponent, accepting defeat with submissive behavior. Although many ungulates choose a life of total solitude, living in these groups brings useful advantages in terms of protection against predators, heat conservation, and of course, preparation for the rut. While the huge yak endures the hardships of life in Everest's heights, the tiny Himalayan pika proves that it is not necessary to weigh a ton to earn a place in this wild ecosystem. Weighing around 5.3 ounces and measuring no more than 7.9 inches, these tiny mammals are another incredible life form adapted to Everest's challenging altitudes. Living in rocky areas near coniferous forests, the compact pikas not only survive but are among those fascinating wild species that even manage to thrive despite the harsh climate. Like the giant yak, this lagomorph also has a very warm coat that keeps it well wrapped even on days when Everest shows its fiercest side. Unlike their relatives, rabbits, pikas have small rounded ears that limit heat loss. Their paws, despite being surprisingly strong and with excellent traction ideal for rocky ground, are quite small, matching their reduced body size. To complement its adaptations to extreme cold, this skilled survivor usually lives in comfortable burrows in rock crevices or cozy tunnels where it can shelter from sub-zero temperatures. It often prefers to live alone or perhaps with a few conspecifics nearby, but almost always it chooses a solitary and elusive life. While during freezing nights it curls up inside its simple shelter, daytime is the time to get busy, emerging from the burrow to search for food. Since it does not hibernate, the small pika cannot simply sink into deep sleep when its habitat turns white, needing food all year round. This is why, when the relatively warm summer days arrive, when the thermometer can even reach 68 degrees Fahrenheit at these lower altitudes, the clever pika takes the chance to store food for winter. While during this warmer season Everest does not show itself as a generous habitat, much less one that wastes food, rummaging tirelessly in the ground, it manages to find alpine herbs, sedges, mosses, lichens, and with luck, even wildflowers. Every little piece of food counts, since the mammal has experienced firsthand the calamities of winter scarcity. A modest bundle of herbs or perhaps some fresh moss, anything goes to fill its appetite. Thanks to its deep knowledge of the terrain, this tiny furball can optimize its foraging time. and using its powerful incisors, it can cut even the finest grass effortlessly. In addition to its strategy of storing food in piles of grass called hay piles, the pika of course cannot help but eat large amounts of those plant snacks it finds. A high intake allows it to store a significant fat reserve, which could save its life when food is glaringly absent. Beyond taking advantage of warmer days to forage under bright sunshine, the mammal also does not miss the chance to enjoy relaxing sunbathes that warm it up a few degrees. Something not at all negligible when living in Everest's frigid ecosystem. Of course, the pika cannot afford the luxury of completely relaxing, since it never knows when a voracious predator might be on the prowl, wanting to make it a meal. Although its mere 7 ounces of meat do not represent a major food contribution in this harsh golden eagles, owls, red foxes, and even wolves see the small pika as a juicy meal requiring little effort, so they will not hesitate to devour it if they get the chance. To escape the clutches of death from a fierce bird of prey or a hungry canine, the pika stays ever alert to its surroundings, watching for any movement that might look suspicious. Its first line of defense against ending up in a carnivore's jaws is its excellent camouflage. The reddish-brown gray tones of its fur help it hide perfectly in rocky environments, going unnoticed when hungry predators are near. Naturally, when directly threatened by a falcon or perhaps a fox, using its muscular legs, the pika will not think twice and will begin a quick dash toward the safety of its burrow. Boasting surprising agility on these rugged terrains, it can leave its pursuers behind in just seconds. Often, as soon as a pika spots a predator lurking nearby, it immediately gives a characteristic whistle meant to warn neighboring pikas of the danger. Although they are not social at all, these alarm calls form a very effective collective defense method. Alerting its conspecifics to an upcoming attack limits deaths in the colony, which increases survival chances for all the mammals. Likewise, upon hearing this particular squeak, the predator knows it has lost the element of surprise, so it often decides to abandon its attack. The squeaks can occasionally also be used to mark territory, urging a conspecific to turn around and abandon any intention of entering another's ground. This territorial behavior is merely a survival measure that ensures exclusive access to foraging areas and prevents unwanted visits to its burrow. With a growing food supply inside its refuge, losing this invaluable pantry after a theft could prove fatal once low temperatures take over its small corner of the mountain. Just as the tiny pika endures the weather's blows in the Rocky Mountain areas, a few thousand feet nearer the base, on slopes covered in temperate coniferous forests, a quiet and charismatic mammal moves through the thick vegetation, eating a tasty bamboo stalk. The red panda appears on the scene as one of those amazing creatures that manages to defy the odds and survive in such a harsh habitat. With a thick coat of bright reddish-brown, the red panda has little in common with the Asian black and white bear. Its rounded head with white patches around the eyes, contrasting with its reddish color, gives it a charming appearance. A long, bushy tail with alternating reddish and dark brown rings is one of its most notable features. In addition to its lush fur, this mammal often uses its tail as a scarf, wrapping itself in it when temperatures become severe. The densely forested slopes are ideal for the red panda's arboreal lifestyle. Thanks to its short, strong legs topped with sharp, semi-retractable claws, this mammal is a skillful tree climber, able to move through branches with impressive dexterity. To keep balance during its acrobatics in the trees, its long tail serves as an excellent counterweight. Its arboreal behavior helps it stay off the radar of most predators that dominate life in this habitat. Since a small, peaceful mammal of no more than 13.2 pounds does not exactly inspire much fear, the red panda must rely on stealth to avoid the many carnivores that view it as mere prey. Cunning predators such as the snow leopard, the clouded leopard, or even fierce birds of prey may try to subdue this peaceful mammal with their formidable hunting skills. To evade these killers, the panda chooses to put its survival entirely in the hands of its excellent stealth. While its reddish fur might seem to mark it out to predators, in truth it blends with the moss and lichen-covered trunks common in its habitat, providing the perfect disguise against even the most dangerous hunters. Staying completely still and curled up, the red panda can go wholly unnoticed, staying off the radar of carnivores that would literally kill for a bite of its flesh. Although its first instinct when faced with stalking predators is always to stay hidden, if cornered, this mammal can set aside its peaceful temperament and become aggressive in a desperate bid to save its life. When a snow leopard or perhaps a golden eagle directly threatens the panda, it gathers courage, adopting a threatening posture on its hind legs to appear larger and more intimidating. While this may seem a truly desperate move, it can sometimes yield surprising results, managing to discourage predators from attacking. Having avoided becoming a meal for merciless carnivores, the red panda now prepares to satisfy its own hunger. Though classified as a carnivore and actually having a digestive system well suited to meat, surprisingly, this mammal chooses a mainly plant-based diet. Although it is not related to the giant panda, this mammal has a strong taste for tender bamboo shoots, which make up most of its diet. While digesting these branches and leaves can be somewhat demanding, the lack of competition for this food gives it an almost endless food source, no matter how harsh its habitat becomes. Of course, when its home on Everest slopes proves unusually generous with fruits, berries, and acorns sprouting everywhere, this adaptable survivor does not hesitate to eat such delicious snacks. When foods as varied as roots, eggs, insects, and even small vertebrates are available, the red panda shows its omnivorous side, immediately adding them to its diet. Its ability to adjust its diet to the changing food sources of its habitat is one of its survival keys. While other species with more selective appetites may starve when they cannot find their limited food options, the red panda never says no, even to the simplest food sources. Although when it finds nutritious food like fruits or insects, it can satisfy its appetite more easily. When eating its main food, tender bamboo shoots, the red panda forages for up to 13 hours a day. During this marathon search for food, the self-made herbivore consumes up to 8.8 pounds of bamboo, only thus managing to meet its nutritional needs. Its slow, methodical movements while foraging are offset by a highly sensitive sense of smell that acts as a natural radar for finding those exquisite shoots. Carefully rummaging through the undergrowth and moving from branch to branch, the mammal inevitably reaps the rewards of its patience, devouring what are, to it, succulent snacks. Thanks to having a false thumb, the panda can manipulate branches at will, focusing its bite on the most nutritious parts of the shoots. When not immersed in a non-stop search for food, it is likely curled up on a comfortable branch, wrapped in its tail to conserve body heat. This amazing creature sleeps around 10 hours a day, giving due importance to deep rest. Another task that often fills its not-too-busy routine is grooming and licking its striking fur. This, besides being a pastime, protects its coat from parasites and removes plant debris. Like the tiny pika, this mammal absolutely does not tolerate a conspecific invading its lands. So to avoid unwelcome intrusions, it spends a good part of its day marking its territory, leaving its scent through anal glands, urine, feces, and even scratching its body against tree bark. At the same time that, in the lush forests of the slopes, the red panda fills this vast ecosystem with color. In the rocky areas where steep terrain rises as far as the eye can see, a pale and deadly predator hides among the rugged landscape. In a habitat where deep silence takes over, the stealthy snow leopard appears like a ghost, a creature so majestic and yet an unscrupulous killer able to annihilate anything in its path. With a dense, soft coat in shades from pale smoky gray to yellowish cream with dark rosettes, this feline not only withstands low temperatures without flinching but also manages to disappear in plain sight amid its rocky and snowy surroundings. Its head, with a relatively short snout and small ears, minimizes heat loss. On it, large pale green tinted eyes stand out with a piercing gaze that reveals death itself. While other wild species could never even take a few steps on this rough terrain, the mountain ghost can move with unsettling skill, using its strong paws with large pads. Like the colorful red panda, this felid uses its long tail, up to 3.3 feet in length, as a counterweight when walking over unstable ground, and it sometimes also serves as a warm scarf. Given the scarcity of prey that usually plagues its isolated habitat, this imposing hunter typically controls vast territories of up to dozens of square miles, where it imposes its will as an apex predator. After several days of starvation, upon finding a prey, the leopard knows full well that failing a hunt could literally cost its life. So, with a Himalayan blue sheep, its favorite prey, before its eyes, it plans every last move of its attack to ensure success. Despite feeling its stomach growl loudly, the feline does not rush, knowing well that its greatest weapon is infinite patience. Observing from a nearby rocky cliff, the predator watches every move of what it hopes will become its meal. Using its camouflaged fur, the feline stays hidden until it is close enough. Using its camouflaged fur, the feline stays hidden until it is close enough to the prey. After stalking the ungulate from the shadows for several minutes or even hours, the ruthless hunter sees its chance and, with a leap of up to 49.2 feet, falls upon the defenseless prey, which until seconds before had been peacefully foraging among the rocks. Against such an unstoppable attack, the prey's survival chances are, to say the least, slim. Generally, the feline does not prolong its hunts and, after just a few seconds, ends the kill with a powerful bite straight to the back of the neck or throat, suffocating it or breaking its neck. Since it often satisfies its hunger with about 11 pounds of meat when it finds large prey, the felid usually stores leftovers in a safe place, such as a rocky overhang or crevice. In these makeshift pantries, it protects its kill from potential scavengers that might want to take an easy large meal. After eating its fill of a blue sheep's juicy meat, the feline can go up to 4 days before feeding again. But being an all-powerful apex predator, the snow leopard does not limit its ferocity to these sheep. A wide range of ungulates such as ibex, Himalayan tahr, and musk deer can also fall into this skilled hunter's sights. Likewise, smaller prey like marmots, pikas, hares, and even some rodents can supplement its strictly meat-based diet. Although its habit of storing carrion lets it make the most of its kills, it can also sometimes cause unpleasant encounters. The fresh smell of meat can travel for miles in the frigid air, reaching the sensitive noses of Himalayan wolves. As soon as they catch what is, to them, a delicious scent, the canines will march straight toward the feline's territory. While against a single wolf the snow leopard might prevail, thanks to its sturdier body and sharp claws that can deliver savage swipes, against a whole pack, the felid can only try to flee to save its life. The wolves, relying on their unbeatable numbers, can quickly corner the leopard. The felid's unmatched agility lets it escape unharmed across the steep terrain, watching from afar as the wolves keep the fruits of its hunt. Another unwelcome visitor the snow leopard might receive is precisely an incursion by one of its own kind. With a highly territorial temperament, the feline does not tolerate any encounter with a conspecific, so it usually marks and patrols its domain borders to prevent invaders, using urine and feces as well as scratching trees and rocks to leave clear warning signs at its boundaries as a deterrent to outsiders. Of course, though extremely intimidating, these warning signs are not always heeded by invaders who, determined to expand their territory, are willing to fight in a bloody duel where their powerful bites and sharp claws become weapons to inflict maximum pain. And speaking precisely of the voracious hunters of these ungulates, among the thick vegetation of the alpine forests, the vague shadow of a tiny but very clever carnivore can be seen. Although with its no more than 30.9 pounds and about 35.4 inches in length, the red fox does not pose the slightest threat to an adult musk deer, the small fawns are not so lucky, being one of the favorite prey of these elusive hunters. Sneaking carefully through the forest, the canine approaches with unmatched stealth toward the innocent offspring, which does not suspect it is in its final moments. With a leap, the wild canine appears and disappears, but now with a small musk deer between its teeth. Even though its dense, thick orange-red coat seems to give away its position, the truth is that it provides excellent camouflage, perfect for hiding before its fierce attacks on small mammals, rodents, birds, and of course, ungulate fawns. Although with its advanced hunting skills the red fox seems the perfect example of an uncompromising carnivore, in fact this cunning predator is not limited to a meat diet, adopting omnivorous habits, able to eat juicy insects, fruits, berries, roots, shoots, and of course, having no objection to taking advantage of a large carcass as a scavenger. Like a true opportunistic predator, this canid feeds on practically whatever it finds. Thanks to very sharp senses of sight and smell, it can easily locate hares, mice, insects, fresh fruits, or tender roots. Since the bulk of its diet consists of small rodents, the red fox is a true specialist in hunting them. Stalking very carefully through dense vegetation, the canid uses ground cover to ensure the element of surprise in its attack. With an unsuspecting rodent in its sights, the fox leaps into the air and drops with its front paws onto its prey in a technique known as a mouse pounce, catching the defenseless animal with its paws or its precise bite, whether it is in the grass or under a thick snow layer. For those rodents that make the mistake of making the faintest squeak while the red fox is on the prowl, not even their underground burrows offer a safe refuge against this canine's hunting skills. In just seconds, this clever predator can dig several feet underground, raiding the burrows of mice and marmots, giving them a painful death and securing a good meal in the process. Not even extremely agile prey like hares can escape this predator's lethal bite, because with short bursts of high speed, the fox will not let such a tasty meal. But not everything in the red fox's life is hunting and spreading fear among dozens of wild species. With a full stomach, this intelligent canine can take things more calmly, spending much of its day resting in comfortable dens or even among dense thickets. Like the snow leopard, this mammal also uses its bushy tail as a scarf, curling up in it during its peaceful rests and gaining a few extra degrees of body heat. Speaking of the fierce ghost of the mountain, leaving aside all the acts of savagery the red fox commits on small mammals and tiny rodents as a predator, sometimes it has to witness the food chain turn against it. This is precisely when bloodthirsty predators such as snow leopards, black bears, Himalayan wolves, and even birds of prey enter the picture. Of course, for these carnivores to get their claws and fearsome bites on the canine, they must first find it. Its highly stealthy behavior is one of its survival measures to avoid falling into the sights of one of Everest's food chain rulers. Moving with extreme caution among the vegetation, the fox goes completely unnoticed, giving no sign of its presence. If in a turn of events it is detected by a larger predator, this wild dog usually does not try to show bravery by engaging in a fight that would inevitably end with its corpse. Instead, when directly threatened, relying on its impressive agility, it undertakes a rapid flight through the forest, running up to 31.1 miles per hour away from its pursuer's claws. Its destination after these quick retreats is often a comfortable burrow where it shelters both from the weather's harshness and from predators that see it as prey. With the clever red fox sheltered in its cozy burrow in the mountain's lower strata, ascending to 22,966 feet in altitude, a majestic bird of prey is more than accustomed to seeing everything from above. With a wingspan over 9.8 feet and weighing up to 17.6 pounds, the bearded vulture becomes a true giant on the mountainside. Living on desolate, steep cliffs at the most extreme heights, this bird of prey is probably one of the wild species that lives at the highest altitudes on the entire planet. Its striking plumage in shades of dark gray and bluish black on its back and wings, and an underside dyed in gradients from cream to intense orange, makes this bird stand out against a horizon where nothing but barren rocks can be seen for miles. Although the plumage on its trunk is actually light, its peculiar habit of taking mineral baths in iron oxide puddles gives it this striking orange color. On its head, a black mask around the eyes steals all the attention. This extends downward, forming a characteristic mustache of stiff feathers that gives it a bearded appearance. Its unusual habit of living thousands of feet high is justified by very particular dietary habits. And it is no wonder this majestic bird is called a bone breaker. Flying from imposing heights, this sky ace, with the help of very keen eyesight, carefully scans the ground for remains of a carcass, victims of Everest's restless wildlife. While sometimes it does not need to fly more than a few hundred feet to find potential prey, during lean days the bird will fly several miles, for which, in a display of cunning, it lets itself be carried by powerful wind currents, avoiding unnecessary energy use. Upon finding a carcass, the bearded vulture immediately swoops down on what is, to it, a true feast. On landing, it finds that what was once a giant ungulate is now just a few half-eaten bones. Exactly what it needs to satisfy its hunger. The bird, without hesitation, takes one of the bones with its beak or talons and flies back up to the heights, where it is about to demonstrate all its ingenuity. Climbing to about 164 feet, the bone breaker, true to its name, drops the bone piece it was carrying. And in just seconds, upon falling on sharp rocks or scree, it shatters into several small fragments. Immediately, moments later, the bird lands at the impact site and swallows the bone pieces whole. Thanks to a specialized digestive system with an extremely acidic stomach, this bird can digest bones with surprising ease. Even though bones make up to 90% of its intake when swallowed, the bearded vulture actually does so with the sole aim of consuming the nutritious marrow inside. Along with bones and marrow, the bird usually ingests meat fragments and attached ligaments, as well as sometimes skin and wool from the carcasses. When it finds substantial carrion remains, this master of the heights will repeat this process countless times until it satisfies its enormous appetite. In a single session, the bearded vulture can ingest up to 2.2 pounds of food. Sometimes, when the remains contain smaller bones, the bird, also known as the lammergeier, skips the step of carrying its food to the heights and swallows the bones without needing to crush. After enjoying a not at all light meal, the vulture returns to its high home, where it spends considerable time resting on rocky ledges and cliffs. Since its flying skills are crucial for feeding, this large-beaked bird devotes much of its day to caring for its plumage, slowly grooming it and removing any plant debris or carrion remains to keep it in top condition for flight. Its habit of rubbing against soil and iron oxide-rich puddles may also provide useful benefits for plumage care, even eliminating parasites and maintaining feather health. The reddish-orange color its feathers acquire also plays an important role in the social life of these birds. And in the complex world of bearded vultures, more vibrant feather tones indicate greater vitality and strength, traits linked to older, more experienced birds. Bright plumage tones are also considered a sign of good health and genetics among females, so they also represent a peculiar way to ensure reproductive success. But not all is lost. Currently, programs aimed at preserving these birds are underway, focusing on captive breeding as well as legal protection of the species. Although challenges may be many, it is an important first step on a long road to saving these majestic creatures from extinction. From massive yaks to the solitary snow leopard to tiny pikas today, Everest's wild species face numerous challenges from our intrusion into their isolated ecosystem. That is why it is our full responsibility to promote measures that preserve the invaluable wildlife of the roof of the world. Were you impressed by the stories of Mount Everest's wild creatures? Then leave us a like and don't forget to comment on which species was your favorite. Remember that to stay updated on our next releases, you can subscribe and click the notification bell. If you want your friends to also learn about the natural wonders hidden by the world's highest mountain on its peaks and slopes, you can share this video on your social networks.